Good afternoon, guys. Today we're going to take a quick look at my E66 740Li. So I just completed my E38 video and a lot of people were asking to do a quick video of this, the E66. So here it is, beautiful day here in Ireland today. It's about 20 degrees, lovely and sunny. So this is the 740Li. So the Li is of course the long wheelbase version. This has the 4-litre V8, naturally aspirated. It produces about 306 brake horsepower. So the long wheelbase really makes the E66 pop. Whereas with the E38, the long wheelbase, it looked like it was very much just added on the extra, 5 inches at the back. But the E66 really, or the E65 shape really carries the extra few inches very well. It hides it very well. In my eyes, it should be only a wheelbase model. And I think BMW have kind of come around to that idea as well with their later models, with most of them being predominantly long wheelbase now. So I've owned this car for 3.5 years. I've documented some of the work I've done to it over the years. It's completely stock, but just general maintenance. So I did have terrible trouble with valve stem seals. Actually, I only had the car about 2 months, and the stem seals were done under warranty. The car was burning a lot of oil. And that's since been resolved. So that was quite an invasive procedure. To be honest, the whole top end of the engine has to come apart, but once that's done, these cars are really quite reliable. You've got no turbos to worry about or anything like that. So other issues I had with it were the central coolant pipe in the middle of the V of the block. I'll show you the engine bay. That started leaking. It's a very well known issue with these cars, with the V8s, the V8 petrols. And again, it's quite a lot of work to get that resolved, because the whole basically top of the engine needs to come apart again to get just to this coolant pipe. So it was basically I had a coolant leak, and that pipe had to be replaced. So that was in around €1,100 to get that done. So that's the V8 block, and this is the N62 engine. The 750s had the extra displacement, the 4.8 litre. So very clean engine bay. I'm actually just missing the plastic here on the front, because just generally I like to keep an eye on belts and pulleys and that kind of stuff. So I just tend to keep those covers off. So that's the engine bay. So this car is Monaco blue. As you can see, it's quite a hefty vehicle. It's not a light car by any means. So it's Monaco blue metallic. A few stone chips around the front end. I mean, this is a 12-year-old car, but aside from that, there isn't a single ding on this car. And I've just completed a paint correction last week. I just completed a wedding actually yesterday, so that's why the car looks so good. So I've basically, the wheels, these are the 20-inch wheel, the style 149 alloys from BMW. I got them recently refurbished, so there's not a single mark on these wheels. They're clean basically all the way through as well. I don't know if you can see that on the video. So these are again a staggered profile like the E38. So you have the 275 profile on the back and 255 profile on the front. So they're a considerably larger wheel than on the E38s. I've actually got a mixture of Continental Sport Contact 5s on the front, and the Goodyear Eagle F1s on the back, the asymmetric 2s I believe it is indeed, yeah. Quite disappointed with these Continentals. I actually had them on the rear as well, and even in just any kind of greasy weather the wheels were spinning non-stop, so I'm quite glad that the Continentals and the wear rate was absolutely diabolical. I only got about no more than 15,000 kilometers from just regular towns in city driving. The wear was absolutely shocking, and online reports pretty much confirm the same thing. So I'm very glad that I have these Eagle F1s on the back. So I'll just go around the car. So this car is, a lot of people, there's a bit of discussion online basically saying the 740 in the Shape 7 series is kind of in no man's land in terms of, why would you get a 740? You don't get the economy of the 730, you don't get the power or the exclusivity of the 740s, or sorry, the 750s or 760s. But the reason I went with this particular car is, to be honest, I was looking for a 750. But spec is a big issue. This car is far better spec than most 760s, let alone the 750s. And to be honest, engine size was less of an issue to me. I'd much rather have a higher spec vehicle than a slightly less powerful one. So some of the features this car has. So we have, well, there's comfort access all the way around. So basically, I have my keys in my pocket. Well, the car is open at the moment, so I can basically just push on the handle. That's the car locked. I can unlock it. Just pull on the handle. The car unlocks all the way around. I'll show you the interior in a minute, but these mats are a little bit dirty. As I say, I was doing a wedding yesterday, so we have soft closed doors, of course. Just close the doors over and they close themselves. Same with the rear doors, soft close all the way around, which is a very nice feature. So coming back around to the boot, single touch the underside, and it opens up no problem at all. Full toolkit, as everybody likes to see. And the nice first aid kit the E66s come with. So what have we got in the back? So this is, as I mentioned, has a lot of spec. Now it's not a massively spec car, but it is definitely one of the on the higher end of things. So you've got your DVD changer, 6 changer. Again, nobody watches DVDs anymore, but especially in a vehicle. But 6 DVD changer. You've got the DVD nav. Now I'll go in more detail about the nav in a bit, because it's a little bit disappointing because they basically just ripped it from the E38, so it's really quite outdated. Even when this car started production, it was out of date, to be honest with you. So you have the DVD based nav as well, and this also has the Logic 7 sound system, so that's the amplifier mounted there. And the right side we have all our fuses. You've got your battery cut off jack, and the batteries mounted below here. I've got a 120 amp battery in there. Then so full size spare underneath. So this car was originally spec'd with those style 95 19-inch wheels. But the dealer actually changed it. When this car was brand new, the dealer spec'd the style 149s and put the 20s in this place, basically. So they were the original wheels that came with this car. If you look up the VIN for this car, they came with style 95s. So we've soft close as well, automatic close on the tailgate, which is a nice touch, and it can be done remotely as well, basically once you've got the key in hand. And what's an even nicer feature is you can also close it remotely, again holding down on the key, which is a nice feature to have. And as with most BMWs these days, you can of course open all the windows remotely as well, and close them all as well, including the sunroof. So as you can see, the paint's in excellent condition. I did a full paint correction on this recently as well. Again, sunroof is always a nice touch. I suppose we'll move on to the interior, especially the back. The back really is where this car shines. So again, apologies for the dirty carpets, but this car has front comfort seats and it has the rear comfort seat package as well. So fully adjustable seats in the rear. We've got ventilated seats in the back. We have heated seats in the back. Full memory control. Full lumbar adjustment. You've got adjustable headrests, and every which way you want to move these seats, it can be done, no problem at all. You also have the rear entertainment package, so this is all factory. I suppose the only thing that I've changed is I swapped out the lighters for actual usable USB charge points. Nothing special in the centre armrest. I still have 2 champagne flutes in there. And we've got the full blind package as well, so on the rear window and on the actual rear passenger doors as well, and the pillowed headrests. And people always want to see these seats move for some reason. It's the first thing they always want to see, so I'll just start the ignition here. So basically I can actually, so it's people are always a little flummoxed by these controls. It's in the shape of a C, so whatever you want to move, if you want to move the bottom, you press the bottom, and then you can move the bottom forwards and backwards. You can lift it up and down, so this switch goes up, down, left and right, and you can also twist it. So you can adjust the angle of it. So for example, with the backrest, I can press this button here and then twist it, and that brings the seat forwards and backwards. So they really are infinitely adjustable, and these headrests are so comfortable. You can basically just bend them any which way you want, just to make it more comfortable on the back of your head. So you've got the blind controls as well. You can control the blinds on both sides of the car as well, much like you would your wing mirrors. So if I pop this over to the left side, it's going to control the other side of the car. So basically I can control the small blind on the far window, and you control obviously the main blind as well. And you can stop it halfway through and have it go back up again. And you also have the rear blind switch as well, so you can do all that from the rear also. So they really make a difference, especially on a hot day. Not that we get overly hot days here in Ireland, but and this is the long wheelbase. So this is the amount of room that I have at the moment. I mean, I'm sitting behind myself in terms of driving position, and there's just acres of room here. You can really stretch out. This car also has the full rear iDrive system, so basically everything that you have in the front, you can't quite see with the sun, you have in the rear. So you've got all control with the iDrive knob, so you can flick through whatever you want to have a look at. You can FM, you've got your radio controls, CD controls, CD changer controls, you have TV, DVD controls, whatever you want to go into. So this is DVD, for example. It does take a while to boot up as the drive spins up in the back. So you can control everything, you know, that you would ordinarily do so from the front, from the back. So you also have, if I can spin around to the front here. Oh yes, so this is Logic 7. Subwoofers under each seat. You actually see them there just to the right. So that's the factory Logic 7. You've got a centre channel in the front dash. You've tweeters and mids in both of the front doors. You also have mids in the rear doors, and then you've also additional speakers in the rear partial shelf. So I think there's a total of 13 speakers, including the subwoofers. So it's a hell of a system. Yeah, I was trying to just show you on the front. You've got additional controls on the front here for volume, so each person can control their own individual volumes on the front. So you've got your own headphone sockets as well. And if you find that you've been messing around with your seat controls too much and you end up with a really awkward seating position, you can basically just press this button here. Sorry, my battery is giving me a low warning here, and you can press and you can return your seat to its original factory setting basically. So the ventilated seats in these cars is a little bit of a gimmick because they are just that. They aren't really cooled, they're ventilated is the way to describe them. You've got the perforated leather, and basically it just takes air from inside the car itself and blows it up through the base and also through the seat back. So if the car is warm like it is now, it's just going to blow warm air on you, not actually cool air. So the air itself isn't actually air conditioned, whereas on the likes of Mercedes and the like, I believe it is. So one real nice addition that they started doing on the E65 was adding additional rear ventilation, because you're always just relying on this center vent, which, you know, in most cars is pretty useless. So you've got a little bit extra control there on the right hand side. So up in the ceiling we have a nice adjustable mirror which you can spin around, and yeah, just nice. At night time these give a lovely illumination, and the same on the rear seat pillars as well. You can see this LEDs located here as well, so they shine nicely up on the seat pillars also, which is a nice little touch. So this car has this unique wood as well. I wasn't overly keen on it when I first got the car. I thought it looked a little bit bland, but I do like it. I've come to like it. The grain is actually, I'll show you in the front, it really comes through quite nice. And you can see the colour here on the driver's door. It looks a little more weathered, a little more realistic looking. So, and moving on to the interior. So front comfort seats. Again, we've got these lovely headrests in the front. They're so comfortable. And again, the front seats have a little more adjustability than the rear, so you do have lumbar adjustment. And well, actually there's lumbar in the back as well, but the bolsters are fully adjustable on this car on the front end. What's really nice is basically you sit into the car, put your seatbelt on, start the car, and then the bolsters come in and they squeeze together to their preset position. So it's very comfortable. Again, you've got ventilated leather all the way throughout, and it's actually held up quite well. This car has just over 100,000 miles on it, and the seat bolster here, the cushion, it's a little bit weathered and worn as you'd expect, but I mean, look at that front seat again, it's perfect condition. So front spec wise, people always, straight away if you're looking at one of these cars, people always look here to see what kind of spec the car has, and if you've got multiple buttons here, you're doing quite well. So I've got two, I'm missing the third, which is the massage function, which normally sits here. But same, we've got the ventilated seats and heated seats, memory controls, and it's basically the same on the passenger side as well. So we've got button on for the rear tailgate, boot lid opens up, automatic parking brake, we've got automatic wipers, which actually brings me to the headlights. So these are really quite advanced for their time. These are the dynamic active xenons, which BMW started to spec on these cars. So basically the headlights turn with the steering wheel, and they're also obviously self-leveling, and we also have the window washer here as well. So, and they're bi-xenon as well, so this one headlamp here does low and high beam, and basically when you flick from low beam to high beam, it just has a shade, basically a metal shade that goes like that. So basically that's your basically low beam, and then high beam is just a shade moving forwards in front of it. So this is just a flasher, basically a halogen flasher, but you've got your bi-xenon there. So yeah, really smart looking headlight from BMW, and you've got the angel eyes as well, the LED based system. So and that's actually one of the few mods I've done. I've just swapped them out, the actual LED itself, to a white colour instead of the factory yellow colour, so it looks a lot sharper. So one of the things this car is missing is actually the automatic folding mirrors. So everybody likes the mirrors on these cars when they fold upwards. So this car is lacking that, unfortunately. And another thing this car is lacking, which is a little unfortunate, is the adaptive dampers. So this is the first 7 Series to have that feature. So it does have self-leveling rear air suspension in the back. So as soon as you say get 2 rear occupants, the car will raise up to compensate for the decreased height in the suspension. So it does that automatically, but it doesn't have the adaptive, sport and comfort system which was introduced on this model. So just stepping into the car, this is the dash. So there you see 162,000 kilometers, so it's just well over 100,000 miles. It's nice and warm today, 20 degrees. So the V8 note is quite nice. This steering wheel is particularly nice, I do like it. This is actually the sport wheel, so this isn't a sport model, but it does have a few sport features like the alloy wheels, and like this three-spoke steering wheel, which again is the nicer option of the wheels, because this is a big ugly 4-spoke unit that isn't particularly nice. This car is spec'd with voice activation as well, so you've got the voice activation button here. CD changer.
CD changer menu.
And you have all those kind of options, and it is actually quite a useful system. Options.
Please select from the following menus: telephone, navigation, notepad, radio, CD, CD changer, DVD, TV. Also use subcommands from the individual menus.
So like once you know your way around the system, it actually works quite well, although you tend to just use the same ones over and over, radio and the CD changer. Which brings me to the CD changer. This is where the CD changer is located in the 7 Series, which is a bit unusual, and that is normally the boot. But it actually failed on me, and I wanted to get rid of it for years anyway. So I've since replaced it with, well, you're not going to be able to quite see it, but I have a Densian Gateway 500 module in here. So it gives you auxiliary, gives you iPod, it gives you USB stick capability, which I do have here. This is just a really odd USB stick just plugged in. So you can just put whatever music you want onto the system, and it uses the factory system. Once you go into entertainment, for example, navigate to CD changer menu, and then basically you can navigate your USB stick as you would if it were a CD, basically. So it's basically you can just navigate as normal, choosing whatever you like. seem to have got it confused now somehow. Unless I just have the volume down. I do have the volume down. So that's the central dash. A little bit of a controversial decision with BMW as to why they did this. They continue to give you their proprietary phone system, which is bloody useless. I mean, this is just a phone no one's ever going to use. It was outdated when it came out, 12 years later, so pretty useless. Your SIM card basically pops in here. You can stick your SIM card in. This is 2005. This is the facelift model. So in the following year, BMW actually introduced the Bluetooth module in the boot that could basically connect your phone. But mine is basically 6 months too early, so I can't actually connect my phone via Bluetooth. It's easily done, but I've just never been bothered to do it. You've got your 2 cup holders here. You also have your central ashtray. Again, I have another USB charger here on which I'm charging my phone at the same time. Center console buttons, they pop open either side. Inside you'll find 2 more champagne flutes. Hidden coin holder in there, which is a nice little touch. And this is actually cooled as well, so it's air conditioned. So not quite a fridge, but stuff definitely stays cool in there if you keep it in there for long enough. This is the glove box. So this is where I have the Dentian system. So it's actually installed just above, but this actually is the auxiliary in setup here, so you can plug in whatever you like, your phone or any iPod, that kind of thing, and that can be your music source either. So just to now quickly navigate through the menu. Not a whole lot here. This is pretty damn outdated. So as I went through in the back, you've your entertainment system with your FM, AM radio, CD changer, your TV mode. Again, this is an analog TV, so we no longer receive TV. There is a digital tuner available. Again, I never actually bothered with it. So you've got your tone, the Logic 7 system you can pop into, and you can change everything. You can change the equalizer settings whatever way you want. So all that kind of stuff is in there. Climate control settings, you actually pop into your settings. So I'll go down to the bottom left here. Well, actually, if you climate options, these are ridiculously overcomplicated. You've got all these different presets. You can set your seat temperature for the heated seats, how much goes toward the bottom of the seat, how much goes towards the back, and in terms of the actual ventilation, in terms of the vents and that kind of stuff, it's way overcomplicated, but you just end up using the same controls, so it doesn't really matter. This is overcomplicated. As long as you stick to the regular dials and the like, you'll be absolutely fine. Again, this is utterly useless. You've got the inbuilt, so this is basically for using the SIM card here, so you can just dial quickly and your numbers pop up along the top of the screen. Pretty damn useless. And just to pop out here, I always find this annoying with the E66. So your actual temperature controls are along the bottom there. So not the most visible things in the world. So you're basically adjusting these here, temperature up and down, and they basically adjust there with very small writing. So a little bit annoying. You have to have your screen on basically just so you can see what the temperature is. And another thing that annoys me basically, if you turn your screen off, it never actually turns off. So at night time there's still a glow from it, and that always kind of annoys me with this particular vehicle. They didn't engineer an option to actually turn the screen completely off, so that's quite annoying. But you've got fully adjustable steering wheel, steering column even, with the controls on the right side here. So as soon as you get into the car, the steering wheel comes out towards you, your seat bolsters squeeze you in, and that's you set to go basically. So this has the keyless start as well. There's the steering wheel retracting back to its original position. It allows you easier access to get out of the car. And the key is in my pocket. You don't need to use the slot at all with comfort access. Foot on the pedal, just hit start, and it starts straight away. And it's giving me a warning basically saying the remote control batteries is a bit low at the moment. But yeah, the comfort access really makes getting in and out of this car nice and easy. I just did a mod recently, well not a mod as such, I've added the factory option for a garage door opener, so we've got the 3 buttons there, so I can do that as well. So that about covers the front cabin really. I suppose the only unique different thing about the E65 series is the gear shifter was relocated to the right side of the steering column as opposed to having it here in the center console. So it really frees up this area by mounting it on the steering column. It's pretty easy, as you can see, to select. You've got reverse, neutral and drive. Park, you just basically push in on the button on the end of the shifter, and that puts it in its respective mode. So you can see there, just lifting the stalk up, that sticks it in reverse. Pull the stalk down into drive, press the button on the end, sticks it back into park again. And you've got your park distance control button here, which I'll turn off. You also have you can program this button to do whatever you want, and most people with these cars program it to be the automatic parking brake. So if I put my finger on it here and press the button there, that activates the system, and press it again and it basically turns it off. Especially if you're trying to park the car, you don't want it engaging and disengaging all the time. Yeah, that's about it for the cabin, to be honest. Just want to briefly show you how these buttons actually work on the seats. So ventilation, you can hear the seats spinning up, and you've got the 3 different levels. It gets progressively lower and lower, and same with the heat. It starts off on high and then it drops down. That annoys some people to have it on high as the very first setting. It makes perfect sense to me. If you're calling for heat, you want it to be max straight away, to be honest. That makes sense to me, absolutely. So people always wonder what this button does as well. This is for adjusting the bolsters. So you press this button and twist the knob, and then the bolsters basically collapse inwards, and that's basically what happens when you pull on the door handle and open the door to let yourself out. The bolsters then open back up again. So consumption wise, this car is actually, it's not great. I was about to say it's pretty good, but it's not. The display there showing 15.2 litres per 100 kilometers, which is pretty atrocious, but I do pretty much nothing but city driving all day long. My average speed, as you can see, is incredibly low. That's in kilometers, so that's very, very low. Yeah, so in miles per gallon on the motorway, you'd be averaging about 27, 28 tops, and around town you'd be lucky to get up into the 20s, to be honest with you. You'd be around 18, 19. Actually, not even. I mean, you're talking 16, 17 around city driving, so not too great on the consumption side, but to be expected with this kind of car. So yeah, great looking car. And of course, this is the driver controls. You can do the rear blind and all that kind of thing from the back of the car. So the seats in the back, they really look at the absolute business. You've got cup holders down there at the bottom as well, and the little rocker switch in the center here, that basically allows you to switch tracks and stuff like that, so you can rock it from side to side. People are always wondering what that is as well. So yeah, that about it sums up the car. As I mentioned earlier on, it's not actually a sport model, but it does have sport wheels, and it has quite a sporty, beefy looking appearance. I wasn't too sure about these chrome strips when I first got the car, but I since grown to love them. I think it's a very classy looking car. I was always very much sporty orientated when I came to my cars, but it adds a real element of class, especially with the chrome strip as well on the underside of the top side of the boot lid there. So they really look great. Wheels look the business. Big brakes on the front as well, as you'd expect with this car, a car of this size. Great stopping power. The brakes in this car are absolutely phenomenal, absolutely brilliant. Best brakes I've ever had in any car, to be honest with you. Really, really good. Interesting about the wipers as well. The washers are actually integrated into the wipers, so keeps the bonnet nice and clean and flat. Anything else interesting? Yeah, tilt and slide sunroof. You've got GPS antenna in the shark fin. This model had model number designation deletion from the factory, so I actually added it back. I think it looks a lot sharper with the actual 740 on the back. So yeah, let me know what you think of the car. Such a great looking car, classy looking car, sporty, powerful, extremely comfortable. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Any comments below, I'll try and answer any questions. I'll try and keep these kind of videos coming. Thanks for watching.